Boom.
Biddly, 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 biddly bo. Yes, yes, yo. Here we go. Ain't nobody down round here. We're not messing about. Clock watchers are in. You know what time it is. Get that badger in and on and over here. Said I was back. Said I was back on Wednesday. Went live yesterday. Shout out to everybody that tuned into live yesterday at 8. Couple of hours spent with a few beer Morettis, no Yuri Geller. But, you know, we got duped a little bit with the smaller cans, but we got there in the end, baby. So, yes. Quick shit vid. Sheffield United have obviously gone back top of the league as discussed last night, but, you know, I'm not worried about them necessarily. I think if we just carry on the way we are playing. I just want to address some. I was talking to some guy today, top man, really nice bloke, but just a general, and I think it's a general, you know, I think people think this in general, so it's quite good to address. That we're shaky at the back, like this idea that we're still shaky at the back or can get, you know, the low block beats us and we're going to get done on the counter. Every single team, there is a way to beat every single team. This idea that with the low block, we can't beat the low block is for the birds, to, you know, coin a Simon Jordan phrase, even though he does my head in, 45% of the time. We beat everybody at Ellen Road always, so it's not the case that we can't beat this low block. Granted, when we lose a game or draw a game, the evidence is there that we can't beat down the low block, but that's just the nature of the beast. Getting caught on the counter-attack is not unique to Leeds United. It's a possession-based football idea. You know, what would be the alternative? So we're going to have a lot of the ball. If you're going up against teams that want to sit back and let us have the ball, what's the alternative? Give them the ball and not let them break us down. Somebody has to go and try and win the game, don't they? This idea that Wilder's the man, you know, because he plays like a bit more of a dogmatic game, bit more of a rough, horrible, boring game of football that nobody really wants to watch. And with the tools at Farke's disposal, you can't have it both ways, as I said the other week. You know, with the tools at his disposal, if he was playing like boring defensive football, I know some people think his football's boring, but it's not defensive, it's game management, I agree, and he takes his thing out of game sometimes too early for all of us. But, you know, he's definitely trying to win every game that he plays, apart from that West Brom away, which is the worst game I've ever watched in my whole life. And then, so he was on about being shaky at the back and all this, and then I said, well, who is it then? And they were like, well, I like Carrick. And I thought, well, how can we be on about Carrick when we've just dicked him 3-1 at our gaff? You know, I know they battered us at home in Cup game, but, you know, it was an anomaly. So, yeah, we've got Preston. They haven't lost a game in 5, to be fair, but like I've said about every single team, you know, they're all dipping in and out of form. They all get a decent result, then go on a run or drawing. So they won the last game. They beat Cardiff 2-0 away from home on Wednesday. Then they're drawn the 4 before that, straight after being beaten by Portsmouth, who are obviously one of the poor sides in the league. Granted, they got a draw off of us. Go easy on me now, guys. But yeah, they got beat by Portsmouth, and then they drew with Derby, Stoke, West Brom and Sheffield Wednesday. So, you know, West Brom, that team that draws against everybody, but, you know, Corberan is the second coming. This is a perfect opportunity for us to go and get the win, really, and get this away form sort of like pushed under the rug a little bit, swept under carpet, or swept under rug, swept under carpet. How can you sweep something under a carpet unless your carpet's flapping about? Or is it swept under sofa, pushed under bed? Whichever one you want to use, you know, put your foot down on it, swept under, whatever, you know, nobody do it how we does it. We go with whatever we want. They're 14th in league, so it's, you know, no excuses really. Wobber's a doubt, which is, you know, a shame. Byram's a doubt, which is begins, you know, after Wobber you think shame, and then Byram's a doubt becomes a worry. Obviously Bogle, we're not sure if they're back. It's worrying at the wing-backs now. Obviously, Firpo's out. It could be an issue, evidently. There's going to be some late calls, apparently. My man Farke was saying. I have to address this. We don't have no Firpo for 5 weeks or so. We know that Gruev's not back. Ampadu on his way back. This idea that Firpo is out the door in January, I don't know who's told you this. Firpo is not leaving in January. He's open to talk to players. He can talk to players whenever he wants. But he's open to talk to clubs in January, and he can sign a contract, but he still has to see our contract out. Leeds could sell him in January, and people are going on about the fact they're going to sell him because they won't want to lose money on him. This will be planned by the club. I trust the club enough to know that He's not leaving in January. I honestly don't think he'll leave in January. He might sign a contract for elsewhere, and then when the season is up, he will leave. But that will be a predetermined thing. Unless they got offered some silly money for Firpo, which no club's going to do. It's not like Scum are coming in for him and they're in desperate need of a left-back. They do need a left-back, but they don't want Firpo. So they're not going to pay when they know they can just wait till end of the season. He's not going to come in and change anybody's... he's probably going to go back towards his home or back to Spain or whatever and get out of way a little bit and live the life that my man Mandingo deserves. But he's not leaving in January. The club have thought this out. Farke said there's been no contract talks or whatever. I think it's a shame that, it depends what he wants. He might want to go home. He might want to get out of here. He's spent some time here. He's done well for us ultimately in Championship. But he's out for 5 weeks anyway. We're not going to sell him in January. Nobody's going to buy him in January due to the fact he'll be injured at the time of it. He may very well sign a contract that will have been planned in the first place. Settled. Meslier moving January, so the Rennes are apparently going to come in and hijack that. I just think that's a load of nonsense. Again, Meslier, silent S, is far too much of an asset. They're not going to release him. People were trying to scaremonger me yesterday during the live saying that his contract's coming up, and it's not. It's not for a couple of years, so, we might sell Meslier at the end of the year. We might do a year in Prem with him, see how we get on, and then he might get sold on. I don't think Meslier silent S will be with us forever. I think it'll be one of the assets that they look to sort of move on and make some money on. Got him really cheap, and he could go have. I know people don't like him, but he could. He's one of the potentials at the club as a young lad. Certainly a young goalkeeper who could go on and have a mint career. Really, most of these players are playing below the level, which is interesting. So that's why Wobber can sort of fill in on at left back. You can't imagine Wobber being high and wide, can you, at the best of times? But he has been past couple of games and he's looked good. He's delivering to balls good and what have you. So, be interesting to see how we get Ampadu back. Farke was saying, he's his most important player at the club. And, well, he didn't say the most important player at the club, but he says he's my captain and, he wants him back in the side. So he's definitely going to want to try and get him back in some which way, which we all want Ampadu back in. Apart from the people that are sort of going to try to shut it down and say, he moves the ball too slow and all this stuff. Ampadu will come back into the side when the time is right. These things, as I've said before, probably work themselves out. Somebody will pick up a knock or we'll have 3 games on bounce and we'll think we need Ampadu in there up against a tough opponent maybe. He might think go a little bit more. Ampadu's a bit more rock solid at the back. There's talks that we might change formation like Lockie's sort of suggested, which I think is a good idea. Ampadu comes and holds and then Tanaka and Roth will have a bit more of a free roll to get forward, getting in them 10s, and then that also gives Aronson a bit of a rest, and you got James Nonto, whoever's up top. Be interesting to see with players up top tomorrow. It's 12:30 kick-off, which does my head in. I will be going live as soon as I get home from work, so I'm hoping to make the kick-off, but last time I got home about 15-20 minutes before kick-off, so I'll manage to go live. So if you are hanging about or you want to tune in or whatever, much appreciated. And then I just want to mention this because it really tickled me. We've gone global, boy. So this is not the biggest idiot in the room wins, but we're going for it anyway. This one's a bit more jovial, a bit nicer. So I've just been, like you do, flicking through comments on Farke's interview, his pre-match conference or whatever. And somebody's put, "Hi Daniel," which instantly had me. I was like, get in, this comment's the best ever. If you're talking to him as though he's discussing something with you when you're watching a press conference, and that is the best line, the best opening ever is, "Hi Daniel, I will await your response from this." Perfect. He's put, "Joseph is not scored or assisted last in game against Middlesbrough. But Peral Parisley, only played 22 mins last game and had a fantastic assisted in the game. Can we give Peral Parisley a reward to start Peral Parisley as a striker next game?" Now, I think Peral Parisley might start tomorrow. And if he does, Mr. Global, Mr. Worldwide here that's addressed Daniel will think that's a personal response. And that, my guys, is the best news for we've gone global, baby!
Boom. JackCity, bitch! JackCity, bitch! promises. You do you and I'll do me, that's just the way it is. Don't wanna ever feel surprised, that's why I ask.